is my distinct privilege to share with you today the recipient of this year's Lynn Luce Leadership Award. Lynn was a longtime coach and teacher at WHSFA High School and gave her time and talents in leadership and service to every forensic and communication organization with a presence in Wisconsin. In fact, she was national president of the National Catholic Forensic League, and just a lot of people around the country have felt her impact. She was respected both inside and outside the classroom as well as in her community, and her impact on forensic activities is felt far and wide. She was taken from us far too soon. She had just retired and passed away just a few months later. However, one of her last students is finishing his student teaching. Cole in the back of the room, go ahead and wave. He was a rising sophomore when she passed away. And has been coaching in Eau Claire. So Lynn, your legacy lives on in so many of us, and Cole is just one example. Here to share in presentation of the award in her memory is her daughter, Kate Greenfield, and her beautiful family, with her husband and Lynn's granddaughters. And I could not think of a more fitting individual to be honored in Lynn's memory this year than today's recipient, who epitomizes the spirit, compassion, and tireless dedication to students and colleagues. Today's recipient has been an English teacher and middle and high school speech coach for over a quarter century. A colleague writes, "Their coaching demonstrates contagious, positive energy in their uniquely individualized teaching of students. They use quirky humor, honesty, and rich experiences with literature in navigating and mastering the selection, practice, and performance of text. They praised their colleague for organization and professionalism down to the smallest details. Students who have been coached by this person are clearly mindful of where they are now and optimistic about where they could go from here." One former student recounts how this coach made distinct music selections or playlists for each trip to contests and brings a sincere kindness and zeal to working with every single student. In fact, this coach's influence on that former student was so impactful, she went into education herself and later returned to her alma mater to teach and coach alongside today's recipient. This individual also advises a student-run newspaper, interfacing with professionals at local newspapers, and even submitting their own work to local papers, as well as one of his colleagues writes, to put into practice what he expects of his students. He has served as a WHSFA district chair, the epitome of servant leadership, where he shepherded one of the state's most vast geographic districts and among the furthest distance from Madison. He was revered by my predecessor for his balanced, pragmatic approach to leadership and for building harmony among his colleagues. He stepped down from chairing the district to pursue his master's degree because he is truly a lifelong learner and enjoys pushing himself for excellence as much as he pushes his students. And if his contributions to Wisconsin speech were not enough, this individual's reach and service to forensic activities extends across the border to Minnesota, where he assisted with one of that state's most respected speech teams and has been lauded by their head coach, Jill Lofald, who spoke highly of his talent, but especially the heart for kids and our activity. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you our 2019 recipient of the Lynn Luce Leadership Award, Andy Wolf from Superior High School. Putting Andy on the spot, we haven't done this before, but we're speech activities, so I'm giving him the floor for a few brief words of wisdom.
I actually wish my two students that were doing impromptu speaking were here to watch this, because I'm watch them flounder off here and struggle, and I would just get up there and practice and be like, here's how you do it. But here I am, I'm floundering. I had no idea until just now. I can't tell you how much I appreciate this. I love this organization. In fact, I just told Emily over here, who's down here judging with us, that I've worked for a lot of different organizations. This is the one I have always been proud of working for. I've always enjoyed it. I was just telling her, well, I've been through 3 directors. I can't remember who was before Chuck. I was trying to remember who it was. But, and it's just, you're always made to feel welcome by the Friends Association. So I just, once again, and this is my last time down here, feel very, very welcome. All of you, keep coaching, keep judging. I don't know of something more valuable that we could be teaching kids other than public speaking, as well as critical thinking, which goes with this. So thank you very much.
Now it's my distinct privilege to share with you the recipient of this year's Ethel Heisey New Coach Award. Ethel Heisey was a longtime speech coach from Nina, who also taught at Oshkosh Lord's Academy. She was an award-winning and celebrated teacher who fiercely believed in encouraging younger teachers and speech coaches as they embarked on the same journey. Today's recipient is a fitting representation of her legacy even after just a few years of coaching. Said one student of this coach, "They are dedicated and encouraging and have a strong work ethic." To paraphrase, the student said her coach saw potential in her category that she was resistant to do, and yet started earning success, and is here participating today. She added that her coach has engaged and created meaningful connections with every single student on their team. A colleague speaks to this coach's amazing coaching record of several gold medalists at the state festival and at invitational meets, yet that coach's focal point was students' sportsmanship and inclusivity over success. A mentor to this coach speaks to the tireless effort that they have in hosting and managing several contests during their short time coaching, and how professional, organized, intelligent, and compassionate this individual is. As they transition the program from one head coach to today's recipient, they did so with grace, maintaining many aspects, but carefully introducing some new ideas and directions. Today's recipient attended a school active in several forensic organizations, and whose coaches had been leaders and award winners in all of them. Even today, this coach speaks to this influence his coaches had on him, quoting his first coach, Lynn, for whom WHSFA's Leadership Award is named, who passed away before his sophomore year. "Have your voice and find your niche. Do your best. You have abilities and should use those to give back." He does this with vigor as a new educator himself. To quote his own words, "We welcome anybody on our forensics team and work to accommodate their schedule. We do not set a rigid practice schedule or require so many hours before tournaments. If students choose not to practice and simply show up to a tournament, we let them be involved because they still need something from this activity. It's that inclusivity that has earned this coach such respect and admiration of his students and his colleagues. From the moment I met this individual, I knew I wanted him to be part of my own festival management team, and he's been amazingly helpful over the past several hours, last night and this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I present our 2019 recipient of the Ethel Heisey New Coach Award, Cole Pankratz of Eau Claire Memorial High School. To your name badge. Really official. Here you go. Congratulations. Is a national recognition from the National Federation of State High School Associations, which sets standards for interscholastic athletics, as well as music, theater, debate, and of course speech. A lot of you probably may think speech is a club and haven't ever thought of it as an academic sport, but that's exactly what it is. The students practice, they model good sportsmanship in supporting one another in rounds. And so a lot of those same tenets that apply and are true in athletics are also true here. In Wisconsin, we are fortunate to have among our coaching ranks several distinguished individuals who have given 30 or even 40 some years of their life to making a difference for youth. However, I've encountered few who have spent more than a half century doing so with no intention of stopping. And to do so in one of the highest areas of rural poverty in the state, in a fairly remote small community, is a testament to character and determination year after year. Yet for teaching in a small community, there's nothing small-minded about today's recipient. She is open-minded and embraces differences among her students. She takes such great joy in uplifting them to achieve at their best potential. She has seen a number of changes in our organization too, and yet she never complains. In fact, she has praised us and encouraged us along every time I see her, and stresses that we are trying to meet the needs of young people in all that we do. This individual is our inaugural Hall of Fame Excellence in Forensics Education Award honoree. And to paraphrase from an anonymous source, they've learned to be human, to recognize beauty, to be sensitive, to work to achieve a goal, to have more love, compassion, gentleness, and goodness. In short, today's recipient has taught life. They have helped to stimulate and develop our young adults to be vibrant in their studies in high school and beyond. Her students are confident, aspired, and braver human beings for it. In addition to duties as theater director of one-act contest plays, director of the annual musical, and head speech coach, this individual has hosted over 30 foreign exchange students, helped her husband and family on their dairy farm, been mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother. She is a lay minister in her church and teaches Sunday school regularly. She is a 4-H leader and has coordinated our annual county fair for decades in her community. When budgets were cut, she continued. When space was limited, she continued. When talent was not in abundance, she continued and adapted. Her philosophy is, if you worked hard, learned something, and had fun along the way, you won. She is respected and admired, and so admired in her community that the school district named their new auditorium after her. And at the age of 80, today's recipient has more energy and dedication than most her colleagues half her age. It is my distinct privilege to share one of forensics' highest honors, our Wisconsin recipient of the National Federation of High Schools Outstanding Speech, Debate, and Theater Educator Award, to the coach from Northwestern High School in Maple, Wisconsin, Mrs. Patricia Lustry.
For having as much fun as I've had.